Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona, where we have a brick and mortar store, and we handle something called bullion, something that's been a hot topic the last 2, 3, 4 years since the COVID era hit, and I'm here to announce the death of the bullion market. All right, so not exactly the death of the bullion market, but just kind of talk our ways through a little bit of where the bullion market is currently, what it looks like compared to what it was a couple of years ago, and what it means for you moving forward. This is a topic that we tackle every once in a while. Some of you watch us just for the numismatic content, and some of you are just clicking on this because you watch bullion-related items. Welcome. If you want to learn more about coins and coin collecting, consider watching this channel because we talk about all of that stuff in a very non-judgmental way. All right, so the bullion market is dead. What do I mean by that? So 18 months ago, the wholesale level on Silver Eagles was $6 or $7 an ounce over the spot price of silver. Today, the wholesale market value is anywhere from about spot price to just $1 or $2 over. What do I mean when I say the wholesale price? Well, usually what I mean is if I had a group of silver in here at my store as a dealer and I wanted to get rid of it to another dealer, I just wanted to move it out and get some money for it, what will they pay me for it? This is the wholesale price. This is based on physical demand. I'm not smart enough to know what goes into the actual spot price of silver. A lot of guys will tell you they are. You can go listen to them. But what I will say is that when it comes to the actual content of physical silver that we're moving from one store to another, one place to another, that's a different thing. That's something that you can really see tangibly. That is something where 18 months ago, dealers who put out huge spreadsheets full of what they're buying and selling would have 3 and 4 week delivery times on stuff, and they'd have availability of a few hundred pieces. And now they have thousands of ounces available, and delivery is as soon as you can get payment to them. And so the difference there is just your supply and demand. Now, why did this supply and demand change? That's something that we can look at a little bit closer. You know, I have my own theories about that, but of course, that has to do with the fact that people panic, and that has to do with the fact that people had a lot of extra money during the pandemic. Now, why did people have extra money during the pandemic? The money during the pandemic really drove markets up all over the place when it comes to collectibles. Many collectible markets, not just the bullion market, but coins, paper money, baseball cards, you know, the sports card market went nuts. So a lot of that stuff went up. People had extra money partially because some of them were getting payments from the government, were getting stipends, stimulus, whatever it was called. And the other reason is, of course, that Americans don't know how to budget. And so at the end of the month, when they weren't going out to eat every night and they had an extra $1,200 or $1,500, they were like, oh, what am I going to do with this? Well, a lot of them spent it down at Home Depot, but a lot of you went and bought gold and silver. The demand for gold and silver versus the availability was very, very high, and it created just kind of a log jam when it comes to delivery times. And that created mostly almost like a bidding war, if you will. Well, I'm willing to pay $4 over. Well, my guys are paying me 10 over. I'll pay 7 over. And so you had a sort of internal feud, internal bidding war, if you will, on the bullion market. But in 2019, none of that existed. In 2019, you could buy silver all day long for, you know, the wholesale. The wholesale was even negative. It was below spot. And we're starting to see some of those numbers creep back in the 90% market and in just the flat bullion market, depending on where you are. I know there's certain areas where bullion is still a little bit hotter than other areas, but not so much that, you know, I mean, let's put it this way. If you're in one of those hot markets, you're probably just paying a little bit extra for things compared to people in other parts of the country. Just like if you're in, you know, a bigger city, you're probably paying a lot for parking, whereas other cities are like, why would you pay for parking? There's a parking lot over here. When we visit you fancy city folk, we don't know what's going on. So the bullion market, now, what does this mean for you moving forward, though, the bullion market being, you know, quote unquote dead? I mean, dead's not really what the market is. The market's just back to where it should be, I think, where you have a very level amount of supply and demand. Is there a better time to buy things than not? You know, our strategy here has generally always been the same, which is you just buy a little bit of silver every paycheck. That's kind of the everyman strategy, and you'll be fine. And you don't think about the price point. You know, the best time to buy something is when you have the money for it and you can afford it. You know, we don't believe in timing the market. One of the things that was really tough about the COVID era was that people were really trying to time the market. They were being told silver's going to go to $300 an ounce or $100 an ounce, and you're missing the boat. So there was a lot of fear mongering in general, in very different ways. You know, so But what we're going to start seeing now is a lot of people are going to start selling back off. People who had bought silver during COVID, it didn't boom like they were told, and they're going to start selling. You're just going to see more and more money flow that way. You're also seeing less of the nominative demand, which is to say there's people who had extra money during COVID. They don't. At the end of the day, there's only so much money that can go into the metals market from a consumer standpoint. So that's something that you should always consider when it comes to this. Now, I'm a big proponent of having gold and silver just in general as having a savings account, really a hedge against inflation over a long period of time, and an inheritance. Those are the three things that we talk about here, and that applies all the time, no matter who's in office or no matter what's going on. Or if we're going to Dr. Seuss this thing, yes, I'd buy bullion in a box. Yes, I'd buy it on a train. Yes, I'd buy it in the rain. You just buy it all the time, and you don't worry about what the price points are necessarily. Getting back to the idea of timing the market, though, if you have if you've been looking at it and you've been considering different things to purchase, of course, we always recommend just generic silver, and I don't recommend that you cross streams necessarily and buy numismatic coins versus the bullion. I like straight bullion here and straight numismatic collectible stuff on this side. That one place where there's, I think, a lot of crossover is if you're going to start looking at $5 Liberties, $10 Liberty coins, and 20 libs and 20 saints, all of those gold coins now you should be able to get pretty close to spot again. That 5% over, 10% over for nice, almost uncirculated type coins. The place that I really still recommend is something that I've mentioned before and I'll continue to support is I like $5 Indians and I like $10 Indians as coins to purchase in a down market. If you are looking at something that's going to be pre-33 gold, which is what it's called, if you're looking at pre-33 gold, then I think it's a good time to pick up items like that. The wholesale level on those were much, much higher a year ago. And I think also those are the coins that have a little bit more longevity and upside as far as that genre goes. So $5 Indians and $5 and $10 Indians, I think I'd always recommend. Right now you can probably pick them up for not that much more than a $10 Liberty or a $5 Liberty, and those are the type of things that are a little bit better long-term hold, in my opinion, because they're just a lot more scarce. And right now they're trading at 5 to 15% premiums above what the 5 Liberties and 10 Liberties are trading at. That's a tongue twister that I created accidentally. So the death of the bullion market, this has only to do with the price points that people are buying and selling stuff at. Bullion is, of course, not dead, and I'm not here to deride anyone who bought bullion or who is going to buy bullion in the future. I actually do recommend people purchase it on a regular basis. But having said that, it's a different market than it was, but it's the market back to where it should be. A more normal market, a more stable market, a market that's actually a lot better for the consumer to be in. So don't be upset about this. Your bullion has gone to a better place, and now you can afford to buy it again, and you can walk into your local store, your coin shop, whatever it may be, and they're very likely to have bullion in stock again and at a fair price. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.